So in this problem, we need to resolve the given rational fraction into partial fractions. So let's begin. First, we'll have to make sure that the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator. And that's true because if we look at the numerator, the highest power of x is 2, whereas in the denominator, the highest power of x is 3. So that means we can now proceed. We will begin by rewriting our expression. So we have 2x squared plus x plus 1 divided by x multiplied to x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. So clearly we observe that we have our denominator, which is factored into three algebraic expression. One is x, the other is x plus 1, and the third one is 2x plus 1. So we can break it down into three partial fractions. The first partial fraction will be a over x plus b over x plus 1, and the third one is c over 2x plus 1. So you are at liberty to choose a, b and c because these are simply constants. That means we could have also started with by taking a over x plus 1, b over x, or c over 2x plus 1. So that doesn't matter, so that's totally up to your choice. So we will be considering a, b and c are the constants, and these constants are these values needs to be or determined. So let's begin. What we'll do, we'll multiply both sides of this given expression with the denominator x times x plus 1 times 2x plus 1, such that we get 2x squared plus x plus 1. This will be equals to, we have x plus 1 times 2x plus 1 multiplied to a. The second partial fraction, when it's multiplied to the denominator of the left hand side, this is going to give us x times x 2x plus 1 times b. And the third partial fraction is going to become x multiplied to x plus 1 times c. Now, in order to find out the value of a, b and c, we're going to use a trick here. The trick being, we're going to take three different values of x. We will start with the first value of x, and we have to choose the value of x in such a way that we are only left with the first term. That means the second term and the third term goes to 0. What we'll do for this, we'll have to look for a factor which is common to both the second term and the third term, and clearly that is x. So if we choose x as 0, and that means if we are replacing the value of x with 0, the second term and the third term vanishes. So now replacing x with 0 in the entire equation, so we get 2 times 0 squared, so that's simply 2 times 0 plus 0 plus 1, which will be equals to, so we're left with the first term only, so we have 0 plus 1, so that's 1, multiply to 2 times 0 plus 1, so that's also 1. So 1 times a, and solving this equation gives us the value of a. So a will be equals to 1. Then we want to find out the value of b. So for this, we're going to choose a different value of x. That means in order to find out the value of b, if we can make the first term and the third term go to 0, then we can easily obtain the value of b. For that, what we'll do, we'll look for one particular factor that's common to both the first and the third term. Clearly we observe that's the factor x plus 1. So that means if we take x plus 1 equals to 0, or simply x equals to negative 1, then the first term and the third term is going to vanish. Now we're going to substitute x with negative 1 into the entire equation. So we have 2 times negative 1 squared, so that's positive 2. Then we have positive x, and replacing x with negative 1, so we have negative 1 plus 1 on the left hand side. On the right hand side, the first term will go to 0, the second term will be negative 1 multiplied to, so we have 2 times negative 1, so that's simply negative 2 plus 1 multiplied to b. Third term goes to 0. Solving this, we're going to get 2 equals to, so we have negative 1 multiplied to negative 2 plus 1, so that's negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 1 will be positive 1. So we have obtained the value of b. So b is equals to 2. And finally, to obtain the value of c, all we have to do is make the first term and the second term go to 0. For that, we can make 2x plus 1 equals to 0 because that's the term that's common to both of them, the factor common to both of them. So if we consider 2x plus 1 equals to 0, or simply x equals to negative half, then the first term and the second term vanishes. Now our expression on the left hand side will be 2 times negative half whole square plus x, so x will be negative half plus 1, which will be equals to, so we don't have to worry about the first and the second term straight away. Let's move on to the third term. We have negative half multiplied to negative half plus 1 multiplied to c. On solving this equation, we get the c value equals to negative 4. Now that we have the value of a, b and c, So we have finally obtained the answer. So we'll substitute a, b and c into this particular equation. So we are going to get finally 2x squared plus x plus 1 whole divided by x times x plus 1 multiplied to 2x plus 1. So this can be now represented as a over x. So replacing a with 1, we have 1 over x. The b value is 2, so we have positive 2 over x plus 1. And c is negative 4, so we have negative 4 all divided by 2x plus 1. So we have successfully resolved the given rational function into 3 partial fractions.